what's up?
Hey folks, Jerry here. Welcome to the Pioneers of Insight podcast, a show that explores the wipeouts, crack-ups, and recoveries of inspiring and influential people. Here you'll get the stories of the quest to find success beyond the struggle and the great leaps of innovation that take us there. People that sound like this.
JLD. What's up?
Jerry.
What's up, man?
What's up, brother?
Thank you so much.
Well, I'm excited to be here, Jerry. Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you so much for having me.
Fun today.
Keep telling your story as well.
Yeah, man.
Do I need to have my video on for this?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
Today we deep dive the life story of Chris Kubernos, who quit his job to launch a digital marketing company after a strange fight and experience with his boss. All right, strap in, folks, as we head into a story about the uncomfortable moments that inspire crystal clarity. Enjoy, and I will catch you on the other side.
Well, I believe in karma in some ways, but I don't necessarily believe in sort of the universe is controlled by some mastermind or whatever.
I don't either.
Hey, Chris, welcome to the Pioneers of Insight podcast. I'm so glad to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, I'm excited, so let's just dive right into it.
Essentially, I run a digital marketing agency based in Copenhagen. It is my own company. I've been doing it for the last year and a half. But if we break it down even further, what I'm really doing is we're helping companies touch their customers digitally, if you want to say it like that. And I believe in this vision because I believe that we can help people through producing good content for companies that have great products, great services that need to get out there.
So when you get up in the morning, Chris, what do you tell yourself that you're about to go do?
That's a good question. I would say I don't really think about it so much. Mm-hmm. It's a part of really who I am and how I operate. It's much more intrinsic to me. It's much more instinctual. I'm very good at what I've done for the past forever. And I think that's an important point to make here. It's like I've been just doing this since I was 14 years old. I've worked for advertising agencies as an intern, and I wanted to be in marketing at a very young age. It kind of drew me in. So what I do on a day-to-day basis is very much instinctual. It's very much what I am and who I am.
If I was to call your mother and ask her what you do, what would she say?
She has no clue. Honestly, she has no clue. She asks me every time I talk to her,
What is it that you do?
and I have to tell her, like, we do digital marketing for clients. And then she kind of goes, what is that? And I say, we post on Facebook. She also knows that I'm an entrepreneur, that I'm building a company. That's my vision for anybody who asks me, like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm building the biggest digital agency in the world. It's a bit crazy. I tell people that it's crazy. It's a crazy goal.
So you said at 14 years of age, you took this step into an adult world of digital marketing. What compelled you to do that?
I would say that I'm heavily influenced by my father. And I would say that because my father is also an entrepreneur. At the time, he was running his own gig as well, having his own company. He had been doing that for a while. Even though I never really felt like that was something for me, I never thought, okay, I'm going to be whatever this is, like an entrepreneur. I don't even remember having that conscious idea of what that was. But I was definitely influenced by the success that my father had at the time. That played a big part in that. And also when you're 14 years old, you're still trying to figure out in some ways who you are and what you're about. And I was I would say I was a hybrid kid because I was in art and design, but I was also, playing sports and on the football team. So I was a jock on that sense. And then I was also into computers, and then I was also into music. I was playing guitar. at the time. And I joined a band, I think like 3 or 4 years or 2 years later. We did some albums, we toured a little bit. So I was a very hybrid kid. I was kind of all over the place. And I think the one constant, the one thing that really was intrinsic, like I said before, that word, or instinctual to me, was definitely the marketing side.
So I hear that you had room to do a lot of different things in your life at that time period, like every 14-year-old should. So you have your father's success that's playing in the background. You're exploring your individuality through sports and music. But for our listener, maybe it'd be helpful to hear about what you think was unique about your upbringing, that you had so much room to do all these things.
You know, my parents are divorced. So I think that in itself lends itself to operating in different worlds. Mm-hmm. It also teaches you to be flexible. It teaches you to play both sides. It teaches you to go about things differently. It teaches you also to be able to change and to be able to say, okay, today I'm over here. Mm-hmm. Next week I'll be over here. You're not living in a constant. You're living in a flux. Mm-hmm. So being in that constant state of change, although my parents did a very good job of keeping things pretty constant, they both agreed early on in their divorce that they would live in the same city until I was 18 years old. They promised that, like, until I was an adult, they would live in the same city. They would collaborate as much as possible in my upbringing. They would teach me some of the same values and try to toe that line. Mm-hmm. So I think there's that aspect is definitely, my parents being divorced contributed to my ability to play in different worlds and to be able to take what I wanted from each thing, from sports, from music, from business, from wherever, to contribute to my personality.
So I've worked with a lot of people that came from similar backgrounds and circumstances that actually didn't go forward or weren't able to get something beneficial out of it. So what was unique about you that you were able to take advantage of that situation?
It wasn't a egotistical thing. It was just a self-confidence in knowing who I was and what I could do and what I could achieve, and having the support system to allow me to do that. So having the friends, the family, the grandparents, the whoever that supported me in that endeavor and supported me in who I was. I was definitely encouraged to go to university. I am still the first family member to go to university, which is interesting in itself. Like, I have cousins and I have a brother, and my brother went to college. But it was a 2-year college. So it was, I think that it's strange that I'm the only one that sort of did it. And I'm not saying I'm not trying to put myself up on a pedestal. Everybody has done their thing and does very well, and everyone is quite successful in my family. So everybody's done it their own way. But I would say that for me, because I knew what I wanted and knew who I was, and I wasn't pushed around to do something that I wasn't, mm-hmm. I was very much given the space to be who I was. Mm-hmm. That is the uniqueness that I have, is that I wasn't pushed around, and I was self-aware enough to know who I was and what I wanted.
I got it. I got it.
So here's what I hear, Chris. I hear a guy that's pretty self-aware at a young age, and you're attributing that to the amount of support that you had, the freedoms that you had, and the awareness of a support structure to see the value of that. You had an innate ability to express all these talents in different areas, athletics, art, and you had a strong sense for business at a young age. So where did things start to get difficult for you?
My low point happened it was August of 2015. I can actually nail it. I had been working for about 7 years in the corporate world. I wasn't doing my entrepreneurship thing. I wasn't following my dreams. I had a very difficult conversation with my boss at the time. We're in a meeting. We're in his office. He's getting upset about something on a website that we've built. A little meaningless sort of thing. And we're sort of going at it about this thing. And he's presenting it to me. I don't want to throw any blame here. It's also on my side, but he's presenting it like it's the end of the world. He's also presenting it like a blame. Like,
why is it like this? Why is it like that? Why have you done it like this?
And I'm basically, I've had it. This is the straw that broke the camel's back. This isn't like a one-time thing. This has been coming for a while now. At that point, I had a little bit of an out-of-body experience, if you could call it that, if we want to get all hippy-dippy here. But it was a little bit of an out-of-body experience where I'm looking at myself going, how did you get into this? Who have you become? And where's the man that you were? And that was the low point, because it was also the high point, which is kind of interesting. The low point and the high point are the same in the story, because it was in that moment that I realized that I've done something terribly wrong. I've ignored who I am, and I've been ignoring who I am for the past 7 years. I changed the path right then and there. And I decided that by the end of that year, so this was August, by the end of that year, I would be on my own and I would be doing what I was meant to be doing.
So here you're in a moment, Chris, that maybe a lot of our listeners can relate to. It's a moment of clarity, right? There's a part of yourself that steps in. You're getting lashed by your boss. Maybe your dissatisfaction with who and what you become becomes evident, and that part of yourself is like, yo, dude, look at the mess you got yourself into. So to make it useful to our listeners, tell everybody what you did to make the change. What action did you take? What did it feel like?
I left the room. I'm not joking. I immediately left. I just said, I can't do this anymore, and I left. It must have been the strangest thing to see, but it was literally like this. I called my boss later that day and said, I won't be back in for the next 2 weeks. I need a slight vacation. And he understood. And he said, okay, well, that's unfortunate, but I'm sorry you feel that way. I said, I think I've been working myself too hard. I need a vacation. What I really was doing was planning my next moves. And I planned my next move, which was to transition out of the company that I was in and to do my own thing.
What did you do at that time, Chris? Because I hear that, you took a big step. So a part of you was dying and you had to reimagine your life and what you were about to become.
It's actually retrospective in a way that, like I said, I was getting back to who I am. And so it wasn't so much as a looking forward as looking backwards, kind of doing a retrospect in the last 7 years, what I had done, what was I doing, who was I before this started.
Where were you at? Were you at home or were you on a beach in Bali somewhere with a Mai Tai in your hand?
No, I'm at home. I'm working. Yeah. I'm still I'm in my day-to-day operations at my job. I have a family to feed. I have responsibilities that I have to keep up. I know a lot of people want to pull the ejector sheet. They want to pull that and come out and go to do their own thing. And that's fine. If you can pull that off, that's great. And more power to you.
But that's not what Chris Covernos did.
No.
Sometimes moving forward is undoing, and that's what it sounds like you did. You looked backwards and you looked at some of the choices that you made and you said, okay, how do I make this work? And you're able to make that transition while you're in motion. You're working through that.
Yeah, and that's where I'm lucky in a sense. I think some people don't have that luxury. Some people have to remove themselves from the situation or think about it in a different way. Whereas I was able to continue operating and continue doing my thing and moving forward instinctually.
So at this point in the story, you're headed in a direction. Where did you see yourself going at that point? And what did your vision look like?
Well, my vision always was to build my own digital agency. I had done this previously. Actually, I would say it wasn't really an agency as so much it was me and a friend, freelancers, where we just basically had small clients, medium clients, where we do design work, do a little bit of audio work, do some video stuff. Back in it was probably 15 years prior, 12 years prior to this whole thing that I'm talking about here. So I'd always wanted to do my own agency. And also that contributed in the corporate world, also contributed to my unhappiness because I was not pursuing that dream. I had let that dream sort of die. And my wife actually reminded me, at the time, probably a year or so before I walked out of that office, I was also very confused about my end goal. And she will tell you that she was like, Chris, you talk about wanting to do this and be this person and have this profile and be this title. You would talk about these things and it would constantly change.
So maybe this is where we could transition everybody into your flow. I hear your wife was kind of a force, right? Was she a positive influence in terms of moving you forward?
My wife is my greatest supporter. She's my greatest fan, but she's my greatest hater. And I say this with, a smile because I think it's so brilliant. And I think I'm so lucky to have this in my life. Many people don't, but my wife supports me like crazy and I love her so much for it. But she also pulls me back down to the ground. And I'll tell you what, because I will say, I'll come home one day and I'll be excited about something. I'll be like, hey, we just did this. And she'll be like, that's so great. What happened with this thing? So she'll mention something that's like, it takes me down a peg, here, oh, that's great, honey. That's so amazing. And she'll applaud me and she'll be my biggest supporter ever. But then she sets in that spike to be like, you know what? You better take care of this shit over here because you're a father and you're a husband and you got to do this and you got to do that. So she's so good at keeping me balanced. And I think that's important for people with big visions. I think they always look at the other side. They always look at the grass is always greener and they always forget what they have in their hands. And my wife is very good at that, is sort of showing me these things that I should be grateful for.
So I hear you talking about your relationship with your wife is keeping you grounded and in balance. Are you the type of person that relies on relationships in general to keep you moving towards your vision and goals?
I talk about this also. I did my own little podcast about this the other day, that I like positive people, but I also like negative people. Mm-hmm. And the reason being is that those negative people can put a chip on your shoulder. Those negative people can say,
you ain't going to do that. What are you talking about? You're this, you're that. You're never going to do this.
Those doubters, those haters are so important because they really can fuel the negativity side, which is also needed. I mean, you need positive and you need negative. Mm-hmm. The negativity side is so powerful because it can push you. Mm-hmm. It's like when I look at my competitors and I'm like, man, they're doing that. That's a negative thought. Like, oh, why are they able to do this? And they're crap. And you know what I mean? That's a negative thought. And some people would say, oh, you need to push those negative thoughts away. Man, you gotta focus in on the positive. I'm a more balanced guy. I'm like, you need the positive and you need the negative. You need things in your life that are going to pull you down so that you can struggle, so that you can rise, that you can say to yourself, yes, I'm going to do this and I'm going to show those people up and do it.
What about on the practical side? Like, what are the go-tos for you that you find just critical in keeping you straight and moving forward?
I would say what helps me get things done is to-do lists. I know this has to get done, this has to get done, and this has to get done today. These other things are nice to haves, but these three, these have to get done today. And then if I nail it, it's so good to cross shit off. Oh, I love that feeling. I know it sounds super old school. People are like,
right
what?
there with you.
What do you do with the to-do list, man? It doesn't sound cool at all. No, it's not hip hop. It's not fame. It's not fortune. It's just standard old piece of paper, a pen, writing shit down.
So, Chris, let me take you out here with the power question, because earlier in the interview, you already gave the listener a sense of your big picture vision, which is to become the biggest brand building agency in the world. So let's say it's 20 years from now and you're winding down after a big conference. Maybe it was a presentation where you're speaking to marketers all over the world that are looking to you for guidance because you are now the head of the biggest brand building agency in the world. So let's say you're at home and you're sitting down having one of your favorite beverages and one of your grandchildren walks into the room. That grandchild looks at you in the eyes and says, "Grandpa, a lot of kids at school are talking about what success means and I have no clue." What do you tell your grandchild?
Success is doing what you wanted to do or doing what you want to do. And I know that's kind of airy-fairy, but I really believe that when you're doing what you want, whether that's making money or not, that is success to me. Being able to sit there every day, 8 hours a day or 3 hours a day. Maybe you want to work 3 hours a day. That's success for you. You want to ride a camel every day. That's success for you. But that freedom to do what you want to do is critical, because I think a lot of people don't get to do that. I don't think a lot of people, I think that they've chosen some path. They feel like they need to continue like that path, like I did. I thought this was my path and this is what I'm going to continue to do. And I was sitting there not doing what I wanted to do. And I needed to change that. And I did change that. And I think that's how I've become successful, regardless if we reach to be the biggest digital agency in the world, or whether or not I write a book or I'm on the cover of Forbes magazine. All that doesn't matter. What matters is that every day I get to do what I want to do.
Chris Cabernas, thank you for joining me on the Pioneers of Insight podcast.
I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much, Jerry. This has been fantastic.
All right, folks, that's a wrap. If you enjoyed the episode, please leave a review on whatever platform you're listening to. This just helps put it in the hands of the people likely to get something out of it. If you'd like to dig a little deeper and see what we got cooking here at TOOWi Media, you can visit our website at TOOWiMedia.com. Wishing you grace to fill your sails today. Stay great in the meantime, and I'll see you on the next Pioneers of Insight.
My wife is very good at that, is sort of showing me these things that I should be grateful for.